So this has to be the most innovative piece of DJ technology of the last decade. This is the Phase Essential Kit from Mixware. These are the phase remotes. If you DJ on turntables and use DVS like Serato, I'm sure you know what these are. You've seen them everywhere. And this really changed the game if you DJ on turntables. Previously, before this, you had to have needles and they had to be clean, especially on DVS. A dirty needle means the signal didn't get to your computer correctly and the sound pretty much went to trash. Now these solve that by bypassing this whole system, so you don't have to worry about a dirty needle or a broken tone arm or messed up RCAs. You were in more control of your DVS setup with this, but there were some reliability issues, right? Now, in 2025, quite a few years after these original Phase released, Phase just announced the new Phase Pro. Now, I know it's been a couple weeks since it got announced at NAMM, but I didn't get around to giving my thoughts, so that's what we're doing here. Now, I use these a lot whenever I travel and I have to play on turntables, and I'll be using these a lot again since I have the turntable set up at home. And overall, for the most part, I do like these. The biggest complaint I saw about these from DJs out there, especially turntablist DJs, was they were never as accurate as using records and needles with your DVS, and that's true. The second big issue with this is that these are battery powered, right? So if you didn't charge them before your gig, they might run out of juice and die, or eventually, like these, the battery just doesn't last as long years after use, right? I used to get 4 or 5 hours of charge roughly with these. Now they seem to die a bit quicker. I get it, it's rechargeable battery, it's not replaceable, it's going to happen over time. But with the Phase Pro, it looks like they've addressed a lot of those things, right? Now the signal to your computer is a lot stronger and a lot more accurate, so they say, due to adding a second antenna, which helps out a lot. Also, there's new technology in the spindle section of the Phase to make it more accurate, which I hope is true. The other thing they did was they improved the battery life on this, so you're now supposed to get up to 15 hours of battery, which I'm really curious about because that'll solve the second big issue with this device. They also made it a bit smaller, which is really nice because packing this in a case, like this is my case for my Phase. This takes up a lot of room in a bag, right? To have this plus the cables for it. And as we're packing less and less as DJs and trying to have a more minimal kit, having a smaller device, at least the base is smaller, but the remotes are about the same size, maybe a little bit skinnier, really helps out. Now, while I like those things about the Phase Pro, let me talk about some things that I'm kind of on the fence about. First is that if you see on the original Phase, there's RCA connections because that was originally the only way to use this. You had to plug the RCAs into the mixer and use it to send control signal from this to the mixer to your computer. Later on, they added HID control, so you didn't have to hook up the RCAs anymore, and you just had to use the USB to your computer, which is my preferred way of using it and how I use it for most of the time that I use these things. With the new Phase Pro, there is no more RCA connection, so you're basically just HID or nothing. So if something happens with the HID, you're kind of screwed, and there's no way to kind of have a backup plan on how to use them. The other big thing with that is I know there's some DJs out there that still use the RCAs for the simple fact that it makes it so much easier when switching over DJs. So if you have multiple DJs a night, if you just had the Phase plugged in via RCA into the mixer, you didn't have to worry about switching out any other cables, right? Because the Phase was going directly into the mixer, sending the signal. With HID, you would have to unplug the Phase from one person's laptop, plug it into another, switch their Serato up, and there you go. But that's not possible on the Phase Pro, which I get it. Technology, you want to kind of evolve, and I'm sure that helped make the base smaller, but it just gives another point of failure in my opinion. Second gripe I have with it is the fact that they added LED screens on the actual remotes. Now, these are pretty plain. Now, from the videos that I've seen, the screens on the remotes look pretty cool, and you're actually able to add touch buttons on the actual screens. I don't know how useful it'll be with it'll actually be spinning, but I can see it being useful. My one hope is that there is a way to just turn the screens off to save that battery life, to extend it even further for a lot of DJs out there that don't need that functionality. Hopefully there is. And outside of that, the biggest gripe I would say, I don't know if it would have to be the fact that the new Phase Pro is going to be almost double the price of this. This is around $400 to $500, I think, and the Phase Pro is going to be roughly $800. Now that's a lot of money for a DJ product, even in 2025. And with turntables not showing up in as many venues in favor of CDJs or all-in-one controllers or any controller, pretty much, I don't know how useful this is going to be and how many DJs out there are going to actually buy the Phase Pro, because they're still going to have this on the market as they want something for as an entry-level device, right? They'll still have the Phase Essential. How many DJs out there are going to purchase the Phase Pro knowing there's one more way it can fail because there's no RCA connection, or sharing the phase is a little bit more difficult because you have to use HID. And a lot of DJs out there are kind of cheap. They don't want to spend that much money when it comes to, new technology. DJs are notorious for holding on to laptops as long as they can until they upgrade. DJs are notorious for complaining about price increases of gear. So I'm really curious to see how Phase Pro does in the marketplace. There's some really cool features. I'm really glad they improved the battery life. I'm really glad that they added ways to make the signal stronger to your computer, as well as make it more accurate, which is more important. But we'll see. It's supposed to come out in the springtime, so that's right around the corner. But how well it will do and how many people that already own Phase will update to a Phase Pro, I'm not sure. But you know what? I'm still probably going to get it anyway, just to try it out. And, I am a gear nerd, so I'm really curious about the technology and how useful it will be. But I'm more curious what you guys think. Are you guys going to buy Phase Pro? What are your thoughts on it? Go ahead and leave that down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, if you find this video useful, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you aren't already, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. And if you're looking for more DJ related content, be sure to click on one of the videos right here. And I'll catch you in the next one.